Welcome to Jags Drive Time with Ashlyn Sullivan, John Oehser, and Brian Sexton. Jags Drive Time starts right now.
Trevor's going to be the starter in week one. He'll start this week as well. We wanted him to earn it, as we do with every position. He felt he has after the last night's performance was good. Obviously not great, but he run the ball very well. But I kind of in my mind had that as after the second preseason that we kind of have to get someone ready to play in 3 weeks.
Surprise! Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback for this Sunday's game against the Dallas Cowboys in the preseason and the starting quarterback for the regular season. Welcome into Jaguars Drive Time on a Thursday morning. We are a little amped up that we don't have to talk about a quarterback competition anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
We'll pretend that there really is.
Yeah. But we had to.
But there is one. Backup quarterback.
Yeah,
now there is.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know that there is. I mean, I'm picking C.J. Beathard right now based on the arm talent and the way that he's moved the offense. I mean, if the scorecard matters, then he's the guy. We'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yes, but I will say now that it is official, and I got some text, well, yeah, of course, he's the starting quarterback. But there was some time where it was a topic, and we talk about it every day, and there were press conferences, and there were questions. For about a week, it was never a worry, but it was definitely something we had a conversation about.
Well, I said it the other day, and that is that you introduced it on the ESPN pregame show that there must be something wrong with Trevor Lawrence because he hasn't won the job yet. And these are people who don't watch practice and who aren't really paying attention to the Jaguars. I mean, let's be honest. They're paying more attention to the bigger market teams that they're going to see on ESPN's Monday Night Football this year. And so you introduce a narrative that's false. The narrative is false. Trevor is far and away the best quarterback on this roster, the best player on this roster. And to let it go would be a problem for this franchise. The move was to make it right now. I get the whole coaching thing. I've been around this a long time. But when you watch, your eyes, everyone out there, you don't need to be an expert, your eyes said, that's the guy.
Yeah, and I agree that it was time to do it. I think the reason they did it at this time was what Urban said, which is, okay, you've had your competitive portion of practice now.
Yeah.
You've had the time. There's a time and a place for competition because realistically, the way the NFL's set up these days, there's only a limited number of time where anything on practice is remotely real. Yeah. So if you were going to have any semblance of competition to make a young player earn it, which coaches believe in that concept, you had to do it the last couple of weeks. You couldn't really do it in OTAs. No. So as he said on the SOT, that was a SOT, right, Ashlyn?
Yes,
okay.
It was.
As he said on the intro, I'll call it the newspaper guy intro, you have to get ready for a game now in 3 weeks. So it was time to start prepping in that vein.
Well, and then the end where he was asked the question, but we've just blown big thing 1 out of the water, so you only do big thing 2 or 3. When he was asked, is this the Mark Long from the AP asked him, Mark asked good questions, says, is this the last quarterback battle that you anticipate him having? And Urban turns and goes, yes. Yeah, I hope
he said,
so.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. Right?
Done, Mark.
Done. Okay, now we'll never have a quarterback thing again. It's all Trevor. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, big thing one. We're going to stick with it. It is obviously Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback, and now we can prepare and talk about him being the starter for the regular season. Trevor Lawrence is ready to move forward.
I mean, yeah, you always have. There's always people saying different things, for you, not for you. It's always, you just block all that out. I know the situation I'm in and these coaches and these players, like we're all here to win. We're doing everything we can to win, to prepare, to play our best, and that's really all that matters. And to your point, I mean, I just try to block all that stuff out. Like all I can do is be the best I can be and just keep doing that every day.
Big thing, too, is game ready. This is interesting. Coach Meyer asked who will play on Sunday, starters versus non-starters against the Cowboys, and he said anyone who is not game ready will be getting reps. Okay, Coach, what does that mean?
I think it's all the position. What our job, the term that I've always used is game ready. Once someone's game ready, they're done. We're a young team right now. Linder to me is a guy that I'm not in a panic because I saw what he was like before he got hurt, and he's going to be 100% by game time. Marvin, I'm getting to the point where he's game ready. And but other than that, it's a young team. Miles Jack, by the way, played outstanding. he's getting close to being game ready.
And big thing 3 is the film. We all know the Jaguars could have played better on Sunday in New Orleans, but what did the film show? Guys like Ben Bartch, Daniel Thomas are filling big roles, and the head coach praised the rookie cornerback, Tyson Campbell.
His efforts, incredible. Speed, talent. Twice in the first game he missed one, and then this past weekend he did. So we're having a conversation about that and how to practice that, because it's hard to practice it without blowing their legs out. But you got to put him in a position to be able to make those plays.
All right, let's go back to big thing 2, because I think we've addressed that Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback, and I didn't laugh.
Trevor
but I didn't laugh, but when you said that Marvin Jones is close to game ready, I thought, I would have thought when he came here he was game ready.
Well, sometimes when Urban talks at the podium, he'll say a couple of things, and then he'll sort of remember later, oh, yeah, I wanted to mention this guy, but sort of be off to another topic. I got the idea that he thought Marvin Jones, Miles Jack, Rayshon Jenkins, who he mentioned later, Brandon Linder, he knows those guys. He knows they're veteran guys. He's seen them.
I'm sure he'd add Chris Manhertz to that.
Yeah,
He's talked about him in that,
right,
in that vein.
Probably a couple other guys. I got some questions about this. Oh, it's only 3 or 4 players. Well, yeah, I mean, the offensive line,
It needs more time.
I'm sure he doesn't look at that right now and think, okay, all those guys are game ready.
Right.
The offense has not scored but a field goal with the first team. So he wants to see more from that. So I don't think he thinks most of these guys are game ready. I agree. This is still a roster that he's learning. It's still a young roster. No rookie's going to be game ready.
No.
That may not happen until next year.
No.
So, but the point being, I don't think what he said was unusual. It makes sense. My sense is Shaq's probably game ready.
Yeah,
He had a tough
I'd
night
throw
the other
him
night.
in
There's
there.
guys.
Yeah.
But it's veterans who you'd expect to be. The core guys are for the most part, game ready.
I just love the term game ready. The more he talks, the more I get to know him through the broadcast production meetings and that. I really like what Urban Meyer brings to the table. The term game ready, it quantifies in the modern NFL how you take care of guys to get them to game day, right? And how you rest bodies. The term game ready is so smart. I really like it. It's a very descriptive term in 2 words that tells you where your team is at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're seeing a difference on the practice field. There's guys that stand out, and then maybe we always question, okay, well, what happens when the lights go on? And it definitely is a drop-off. We've seen in the preseason with some of those guys. So let's go to big thing 3, and he mentioned Tyson Campbell, and the question was, okay, well, we saw Tyson Campbell in those blown coverages. How do you fix that? And it seems like he's doing exactly what he needs to do by just throwing him out there and saying, give it another go.
And he praised Ben Bartch, and yet if people saw the broadcast the other night, you saw Ben dive at that big Dalton. His last name was Dalton, and give up a sack in the red zone. And Ben. But these coaches are looking for something more than we are looking outside. They're looking the whole body of work. I'll give you another guy, Daniel Thomas, who I've raved about since he played in Houston last year, didn't finish the season, was on the COVID list, talked about the way he played the other day, right? I mean, there are a bunch of young players that they really like that most people are looking at going, what? I didn't see anything from that guy. He was with the 3rd team in the 4th quarter. What difference does it make? These guys are making their evaluations, and they're seeing things on the film that you just can't see in the course of watching the game on TV or even sitting in the stands the whole time or even the press box. You have to know what it is that they're looking for. And he's seeing things from these guys that he likes.
Mm-hmm.
Urban Meyer tolerates very little foolishness.
We've noticed that.
And so it was fascinating. The press conferences were sort of breaking that down. I thought it was significant at the end of the press conference, somebody asked him about Josh Lambo and said, are you concerned? And he said, yes, make the field goal. Something to watch. And
it was blunt.
He's looking at
Remember
different
the day
things
they cut
like
Aldrich
that.
Rosas. He said the same thing because I like him.
So different guys around the roster. This last game, not just for Josh Lambo, matters for guys.
You bet. You got to get closer to being game ready.
Yeah, and I wonder, you mentioned Josh Lambo, I wonder if maybe it's bringing in another kicker, bringing in some competition. I don't know. He mentioned Aldrich Rosas, who played great for the Saints last week.
Yep.
I'm very curious to see what goes on there.
You got it. Yeah. Comes down to making kicks. It's why he came here in 2017.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love kicking drama on a Thursday morning.
Drama in the Bahamas.
When we come back on Jaguars Drive Time, ESPN's Jeff Darlington joins the show right here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. By Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Come on. It's a blessing, ain't it? It's a blessing, ain't it? Come on, baby. Take advantage of it, huh? And we some dogs. Let me get out. 1, 2, 3. Hey, they wide. Get back. Get wide. They wide. Get deep, quick.
What did he hit you with?
I think he fell off. Right. I think he stumbled coming and he just kept running.
Out versus the Saints in the preseason game. You can check out all the mic'd up features on Jaguars.com. Not gonna lie, I like the new the curse word, the little bird. I think that's a nice little touch. Instead of a bleep, it's a nice little bird.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
If you didn't know, that's a little production tip. That's a curse word they're saying, and you bleep it out that way.
I didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
You
Someone
guys
smart.
should be watching mic'd up better then.
No, I watch it. I have to, when you work in an NFL locker room, right? When you work around the curse words just sound like this, that, and the. I mean, it's part of the world.
Very true. All right, well, we're getting ready for the third preseason game against the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday. So we're looking at who's going to play, who's not going to play. And it's really hard to predict this because we've never done this before where it's only been 3 preseason games. But I'm in the mindset after listening to head coach Urban Meyer yesterday that a lot of guys will be playing for a long time, and he feels the need that all these people need reps this weekend.
Well, I kind of sense this will be – I don't think it'll be that much different than past preseason Week 3 games. It's
so a series into the third quarter.
That would be my guess. Maybe not go into the third quarter because you're trying to get looks at the other guys. Maybe they come off that a little bit.
But, I mean, that was what they always did to get that coming out of the locker room.
Right, the dress rehearsal, which they haven't had. So you wonder if in the future perhaps you'll do that preseason week 2. They could have done that last week because they played right up to that point. But I would think that. Because of the dress rehearsal is one thing, but you also listen to Urban Meyer in the 2 times he has talked since that last game. When you're talking about we need rhythm offensively, we're not good enough. We haven't run blocked well enough. I don't think he wants to go into week 1 with this as the offensive backdrop.
No, and I'd make sure all my pass rushers. I mean, obviously you don't have Josh Allen this week, but I'd wear him out. Let's see, move. Come on, because if Josh Allen is slowed and you have COVID, some guys come back from it slower. It takes time to get back into that athletic, that pass rushing mode. I need Caleb on to be that difference maker. I need him to be the guy who wins one-on-ones. So there are certain guys that I would make play longer. But if it's me, and we talked about this yesterday, I go into the first drive of the third quarter. I treat it just like that third preseason game because guys get hurt. You don't be stupid about it. And if there's somebody who's dragging a little bit based on their practice today, but challenge him a little bit, get him game ready.
And I wonder, Schlin, if you might see them do that offensively, meaning go into the third quarter, but go in not doing that defensively. Because he talked about Myles Jack. He talked about Damian Wilson. The run defense has played well up front. I don't think they're concerned about Shaq. I don't think they're concerned about Rayshon Jenkins. So to me, overall, I don't think the defense, even though they gave up the 2 big plays the other day, I think they're a little happier with how the defense looks and feels.
Yeah.
So maybe they pull back on those guys a little bit and then offensively go into the third quarter, Schlein.
Well, I beat the drum about the run defense. I've seen enough. They're better against the run, which will set up their pass defense. I would agree with you.
And they're not going to accomplish that much more against the run in the preseason than they already have.
No. Get a couple series if Ezekiel Elliott plays for Dallas, get your chances against one of the premier backs in the league, and then you can start moving guys out.
Here's what I still wonder, though. I get why the Jaguars are approaching their preseason this way. Were this a normal team, meaning a team that was maybe in its third year of a build where you knew more about guys? Again, I'm the old man on the porch. I still believe that you need evaluation time for players. This team, if they play into the third quarter, will not have gotten remotely close to the evaluation on young guys as they have in the past. So I wonder a more established team might be able to carve out a game that feels more like Week 4 preseason. Because this game on Thursday, or I'm sorry, Sunday, is not going to feel like a preseason finale of the past.
No.
So,
well, and
I know nobody cares about that because everybody wants to shine. I don't like preseason, Brian.
Right.
I hate covering it. But the teams need those games.
Well, remember, they do have the scorecard from all the winner-loser practices out there that they can lean on. So they'll have to make some evaluations on younger players on that one. So.
All right, so when we come back, we talked a lot about preseason. We're going to talk a little bit more. He will, he won't, he might. Preseason edition, third game edition. Gotta love that. Coming up on Jags Drive Time.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle, and Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Move day is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Move Day crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and moving efficiency, it's no wonder why Move Day is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Track your goods online and get updated play-by-plays throughout your move process. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, they're here to help you on moving day. Call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit MoveDayMovers.com.
Thursday brought to you by the Fields Auto Group. It is time for He Will, He Won't, He Might, presented by Move Day. Brian Sexton, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going with Tavon Austin, and he will make the roster now. He was one of those guys that you were trying to figure out how to get him onto the roster. The head coach had talked about how he liked him the other night, and you're not going to replace Travis Etienne, his package, whatever it was, but he's a guy that you might be able to create a package around. What I'll say, he won't. So he will make the roster. He won't replace Travis Etienne. He might have his own package before too long because he's good at the jet screens. Find a role for him and let's see if we can make him work.
All right, John, what do you got?
I went with Tyson Campbell. He will be under the microscope after, he's had a tough start, and he's had a tough start in the area where it's acknowledged that he needs to work the ball in the air. He won't lose the faith of the coaching staff. It's clear they love his ability. They feel like it's a good pick. They're taking the approach, and I agree with it in the NFL. You would rather have a guy who can be there on the ball early in his career and miss it than the guy who can't catch up with the
Can't even
receiver.
get there. Yeah.
So it's the NFL. It's nice to have on-the-ball skills and be able to knock down the ball. If you're not there where the ball arrives, then it doesn't do you any good.
Here's another example of Urban who really does a good job of verbalizing things, and he said it's our job as coaches to teach him what to do. Physically, we can't do it for him, but when he shows us that stuff, now coaches have to get him technique-wise.
And I said, that he might is still, I still think from listening to people talk about him, he might wind up being a really good draft pick and a really important player for this team. You need 3 big-time cornerbacks. It still feels to me, in watching him, I agree with the coaching staff on this one. He's right there to make the plays. Yeah. He also might benefit from a better pass rush moving forward.
Would agree.
Because so far, when quarterbacks have time to stand and throw like Jameis Winston did the other day, they can put the ball right on the money. The pass rush's job is to make that an errant throw rather than a dime throw.
All right, so I got Carlos Hyde. He will, he won't, he might. He will have a larger role in this offense. Now with Travis Etienne's injury, like we've all said, you're not going to fill that role, but Carlos Hyde, they're going to have to rely more on him with running game. Head coach Urban Meyer said the running game needs to get going this 3rd preseason game, so you will see more of Carlos Hyde. But it won't be all on him. Let's remember that James Robinson had an incredible year, and I think it won't be as much as a 1-2 punch. I think they both are going to have a very huge role with this running back room. And his role still might be defined. And I think we're going to see Carlos Hyde have a much more contributing role in game day. All right, when we come back, Jeff Darlington joins the show from ESPN here on Jaguars Drive Time.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Move Day is Jacksonville's most dependable and caring local moving company. Move Day is proud to be the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. To get a free instant quote, call 844-MY-MOVE-DAY or visit movedaymovers.com.
Peyton Manning, you have spoken to him over the past year. I know you've mentioned that. Have you had a chance to kind of keep that dialogue going, perhaps, and maybe get any advice on how to handle this first year in the NFL?
Yeah, no, we've talked a number of times. We actually have the same marketing agent, so we've talked a few times throughout past year and really the past couple months, I've picked his brain a few times on different things, and that's invaluable for me just because I'm in a position like I've never been here before. I don't really know how it works. I've had a lot of great conversations with him just about what his routine was like throughout the week when I was trying to map mine out each week. Like, that was one thing I asked him about.
Quarterback Trevor Lawrence seeking advice from one of the greatest to ever do it, Peyton Manning. And with that sit down was ESPN's Jeff Darlington, and we're lucky enough to have him on Jaguars Drive Time right now. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We are well. So here in the building, we always talk about how confident, how poised, and really just how normal Trevor Lawrence is to have this spotlight on him. Did you get the same impression?
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And it's exactly the way I felt. That was my first time meeting Trevor or being around him. And, obviously heard everything coming into those meetings. But when you actually get the chance to be in his presence, you feel this very refreshing vibe, this very kind human, very humble human, but at the same time, a guy who really does have a presence about him. And you could say, well, all 32 quarterbacks in the NFL probably have that. They really don't. There's something about Trevor that is this quiet confidence that, I dare say that the closest that it reminds me of, and this is going to feel like hyperbole, but it's Tom Brady, a guy who is so kind, so warm and friendly, but at the same time, you're like, damn, that's Tom Brady. You feel that with Trevor. You feel his presence. And I think that's meaningful, not only in an environment that we were in, but more meaningful in a locker room or a meeting room where you're going to get the attention of your teammates the second you walk in that room.
Let me echo that. Hey, it's good to see you, Jeff.
What's up?
I had a chance to sit down with him and felt the exact same thing for the broadcast production meetings before Cleveland, that he was born for this role. And of course, everyone in Cartersville, Georgia was looking at him in middle school, and all the colleges were looking at him in high school, and the NFL's been watching him since he beat Alabama in January of 2019. The question that I have for you is that you spend time around the league with some of the good young quarterbacks, really great young quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is one of the guys that comes right to mind. So tell me, is he in that category? Do you see the same traits from him off the field? Because we all know what we see on the field. Off the field that you see from some of these great quarterbacks around the league?
So
young quarterbacks.
He's more polished than all of them, including Patrick. And that's not a knock. Patrick is also, I think it's a little different. Like, Patrick wasn't necessarily the guy who was brought up in such a polished environment. Like, he kind of he grinded it out a little bit differently than Trevor has. There are guys, honestly, it's far and few between. Peyton Manning. I know I'm naming the greats, but there's just something about that presence that those guys have. And Patrick has it, but Patrick feels a little bit more of the everyman feel, if that makes sense, where Trevor does too. It's so funny to try to assess character here. Trevor has that in terms of just being friendly and kind. I don't know if it's literally his physical presence or if it's that we build it up in our own heads, but I don't know. I just think that he's in a different league in terms of the presence. And I'm trying to go through my head, and honestly,
well, you said enough, because in Jacksonville, we waited 27 years for this guy. And you're mentioning Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Hey, stop right there, Jeff. Everyone in Jacksonville is really thrilled to hear you say that. I left thinking he was born for this role. My impersonation was this role is. They talk about young quarterbacks. Is the game too big for him? Not this kid. This kid was born to be this guy.
I totally agree. And I also, it's sort of the reason why I know, and I'm not trying to make the transition to football or preseason, but it's also the reason why, when I watch these two preseason games, I just don't really worry about it. I honestly think that Trevor is bigger than the preseason. There are guys like Justin Fields who need to do certain things in the preseason to show people that he deserves that starting job. Trevor is different. It's generational. You can argue with me all day about it. I know you guys won't, but people can argue that the preseason doesn't look that good. And it's you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a forgettable preseason, and that's exactly what it should be for Trevor Lawrence. He's just bigger than that.
We're not going to talk about his game in New Orleans ever again. There's going to be too many other things to talk about.
But by the way, you shouldn't. Like, that's the thing. It is the preseason. This is, for someone like that, it is the time to get the reps, to get the understanding, and to kind of just feel out the speed of the NFL a little bit. It's nothing more than that. And I compare it to a flight. When you take a flight, when you get off, everybody says, "Oh, how was your flight?" If the answer is not anything, if the answer is anything other than uneventful, that wasn't a good flight. Like, it needs to be uneventful, it needs to be expeditious, and it needs to be forgettable, just like the NFL preseason. And I think for Trevor Lawrence, let's get him to week 1 and get this thing going.
Well, Jeff, I've always said if you can be asked about the flight, it's been a good flight. But
that's true too.
What are your thoughts on the Jaguars, Jeff? I mean, we talked about Trevor. I know you haven't gotten into them over here at training camp, but you've seen them a little bit.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts overall in the season?
Well, I'm very glad that he is now named the starter. I think that was slightly overdue in terms of just getting them team reps. I felt that, talking to Trevor when we were sitting down, one of the things that he said was, I think that we can win faster than I think it doesn't take as long to get there as maybe other people do. And I've talked to Urban a lot about that, how we're going to win and we're going to win fast. We don't need to be on a 5-year plan. And that starts with the quarterback. Well, to that, I would say, and we now see it, like, okay, let's get there. If you're going to get there, you got to get those first team reps, got to get that cohesiveness with the first team offense. You got to get that chemistry. That is more important to me than the benefit of pretending to try to convince a guy that he's got to earn the job. Trevor Lawrence earned that job the second he was drafted first overall. And I know we're past that. It's not a debate anymore. He's now the starter. I guess my point is, when it comes to the Jags offense, now we can start to see them get the chemistry that they're going to need to get, the identity. And again, I'm not overly worried about that either. I think that is what this time of year is for. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a team look good in the preseason, the opposite of this, and then they look like crap in the regular season. It's like, you showed all you were so worried about trying to look good in the preseason, and it's like, just get to the regular season, then show your cards, then create your identity. And sometimes that takes time too. It's a new NFL head coach, it's a new quarterback. These things take a little bit of time, and I think that that's okay.
Jeff, I love the honesty. It's refreshing. Thank you
true,
so much.
Though. Like, it's just not that we don't need to worry about the preseason, guys. It's okay.
It is okay. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you here in Jacksonville soon.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Well, he'll be here. He'll be here a lot.
We're
the quarterback's
looking forward
going to make
seeing
sure
him.
that happens.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Jaguars Drive Time. Stay tuned to Jaguars.com all weekend long for that preseason coverage, and we will see you here bright and early Monday morning here on Jaguars Drive Time.